I love vegetables, but sometimes it's not so easy to get our kiddos to eat them. So today, 13 simple ways to get our kids to eat their vegetables. Welcome to Epic Mom Life. I am your host, Kara Peterson. This show is sponsored by The Possum's Tale, a unique book adventure for your 6 to 12-year-old child. Let's jump into today's show. Vegetables. I love vegetables, but sometimes it's not so easy to get our kiddos to eat them. So today, 13 simple ways to get our kids to eat their vegetables. Did you know that according to the USDA, only about 1/4 of children eat enough vegetables every day to meet the dietary recommendations? Children who consume fewer vegetables tend to be less healthy and develop nutritional deficiencies that may lead to health issues down the line. By learning to embrace veggies as a delicious and healthy alternative to unhealthy foods, we can encourage our children to embrace a healthier lifestyle and build lifelong habits that promote optimal nutrition. I can't tell you how many times I wondered as a mom of toddlers how I could get my boys to eat their veggies. Let's face it, fruit is much sweeter and often more attractive. I'm thinking a green bean and orange. Luckily, I came up with some pretty simple solutions, and I'm happy to say that many years later, my adult young men love their veggies and even cook them on their own. Number 1, serve vegetables first, the main course. If you do not allow beverages other than water before dinner, they will come and they'll eat what you put in front of them. In a recent study, I'm going to have all the study links in the notes. It was found that the main factor in whether or not your child will eat veggies is what else the child is served. When he is served something he loves, he will eat all of that and less of his veggies. It's just kind of common sense. That's what we would all do. When he is served a main dish he doesn't like so much, he'll eat more of his veggies. By serving the vegetables first, you make the main dish a non-issue. And if you think about it, this works for all of us. You're more likely to eat your salad when you aren't full from already eating a burger, right? Number 2, add flavor to your vegetables with butter, cheese, peanut butter, a dip, that kind of thing. I know all of those things are fattening, but they will lead to your child eating their veggies. Research shows that kids are more likely to eat their vegetables when paired with dip. And who doesn't like butter or cheese with your vegetables? My dad says the best way to eat cauliflower is with cheddar cheese melted all over it. My boys love steamed broccoli. I have always made it with individual side custard cups with butter and lemon. It's almost like they were having crab or shrimp. They love to dip the broccoli in the butter and lemon, and they eat a ton of the vegetables. Like for 4 of us, I use 3 heads of broccoli and they eat it all up. I, over time, have used more lemon squeeze than butter. They're like, wow, it's getting, really sharp. And yes, it is because I'm using more lemon than the butter. So personally, I'm not a celery fan. I just really don't like it at all. But I can gobble up celery like crazy if there's peanut butter that I have to dip it in. Add bacon, number 3. Seriously, bacon just makes everything better. No, it sounds silly, but if you're a carnivore, just the smell of bacon makes food better. My dad is convinced he does not like Brussels sprouts. He came to our house one year for Thanksgiving, and I was making shredded Brussels sprouts. It's such a good recipe that I'm going to put that in the show notes. And instead of a common side dish or green veggie, I made these Brussels sprouts. My dad physically turned green. He said in front of the rest of the family, the kids and everything, that he was so glad he was an adult and he did not have to eat the awful Brussels sprout. I'm like, thanks, Dad. That was awesome. I convinced him to try them, and he was shocked. He let my kids know that it was a good thing to always try because your mom can actually make Brussels sprouts taste good. I also make wilted salad, if you're familiar with that. Usually you use spinach, but I use baby kale. and I steam it, and then I use bacon and bacon grease to make the dressing, just like you do in the wilted salad. And kale became one of my boys' early favorites, but it was never about the Brussels sprouts or the kale. It was always about the bacon. Are there vegetables in your house that have become part of the would you rather? You know, have you ever played would you rather? So would you rather eat Brussels sprouts or ants? And the kids are actually choosing ants. I have developed 200 would you rather cards. So if you're interested in getting those, they're in those notes. Number 4, add vegetables to your kids' smoothies. This is a hands down, easy way to do it. And this is the first way that I got my kids to eat vegetables. I started with spinach and kale, and I just threw them into the blender for their smoothies, and the kids loved to help with the buttons. It was easy. If you have never made a green smoothie, there will be a link in the show notes on an easy tutorial for making a green smoothie. 5, disguise the vegetables in other dishes. One of my kids actually thought the green stuff in my lasagna was parsley. I let him believe that for 4 years. Once he decided he liked spinach, I confessed that it was actually spinach in his lasagna all along. This is also a fun way to make desserts. And if you're feeling like your child could use something semi-healthy, there's a spinach brownie recipe. I have not tried it, but your kids may never know. You can give that a try. 6, cut the veggies into fun shapes. Children, adults, everybody, they like presentation. You know, presentation is fun. So when you have those veggies cut into fun shapes, people just think they're more fun to eat, and they're more engaged with the food and more likely to eat them. So you can use a serrated blade, you can use cookie cutters, you can make them into different shapes like hearts or circles, all kinds of stuff like that. 7, involve your children in the food planning. I love this step just because one of the biggest chores in the entire household that I hate doing the most is planning the food menu. I don't mind at all cooking, but I hate planning. I just don't like that step. I don't like thinking about what I'm going to have to make. So have your child come in and do that. That can be one of the first chores your child learns to do and help with. Explain the importance of having different types of food at each meal. Vegetables are always part of a well-balanced meal. What types of food will they eat? What types of veggies will they help prepare? Ants on a log may be their preferred side dish, and you may be eating that once a week, but if your child comes up with it, will eat it, and is willing to prepare it, you may want to include that. This will give your child a feeling of control over what is being planned for the family, and it's something they want to eat. Number 8, start a family garden. Have you noticed that gardens are so in vogue? From prepping your backyard to planting the seeds to harvesting the vegetables, a garden is an amazing learning opportunity for your child and an easy way to get her to eat her vegetables. If you don't have space for a garden, you can join a community garden or go pick fresh fruits and vegetables at a you-pick farm. Children who hate vegetables will end up picking and eating green beans, tomatoes, peas, and other vegetables and just munch on them without even realizing what they're doing. Give your child more choice. Okay, I like easy. I love easy, and this step is not easy. This step makes dinner more cumbersome, and it adds more time to your dinner plans. But it does give your child more choice, and when children have more control, they're more likely to engage and be willing to do it. So you can prepare 2 vegetables and allow your child to choose one for their vegetable at the meal. And it doesn't have to be super hard. Like you can just make one raw and one cooked. Like you can make steamed broccoli and raw broccoli. But when your child has the control over their own food choices, it's very empowering. 10, sign up for a weekly produce box. See if your area has this. They might call them different things, but I live in a town of about 40,000 people. The town next to me is about 44,000. So in the whole Tri-City area, we have about 120,000 people. and all the surrounding areas. And we have this, so we're not a very big area. You can get organic or you can get regular, and once a week a truck pulls up with everybody's boxes that you've pre-ordered and paid for. It's amazing because you don't know what you're going to get, right? You get whatever's in season and whatever's local, so it has all kinds of benefits and everything. But the kids go to the box and they're like, wow, beets. I'm like, yeah, beets. I don't know how to cook beets. So we have to look up recipes for cooking beets, but we get really excited about cooking what's in our box. And we end up learning to cook all new kinds of vegetables because nobody wants to waste anything. 11, don't give up. They say a child needs to be introduced to a food 10 times before they're convinced that it's safe enough to eat. No, so they need to be introduced to a food 10 times before they're convinced that they want to try it and that they may actually like it. So that means you have to show them zoodles 10 times before they're going to be willing to even try them. Just be consistent and be positive. 12, make vegetables accessible. Okay, this sounds really, really simple, like in its idea, not necessarily carrying it out. And it sounds really silly, but I have lived this. I have 3 men in my household, and they all love cantaloupe. The cantaloupe will sit on the counter, and it will rot if mom doesn't cut it up and put it in the fridge. Same with watermelon, same with carrot, same with anything. If the lettuce, if I don't wash it, because we don't buy bagged lettuce, if I don't wash it and spin it, it will rot in the icebox. As soon as it's all washed and prepared, oh my gosh, people are making salads, people are eating carrot sticks, people are eating cantaloupe. They eat so healthily if it's all prepared. I actually go another step and I make homemade ranch dressing. Wow, cucumber sticks, their favorite stick veggie is actually cucumber sticks. If I have all of those in little like containers in the fridge, they're gone immediately. They love them. So make them accessible. We all have a default easy or lazy button. And if you can make it so that people can eat food and still healthy food and veggies and still have it be easy and they can be lazy, I think they're going to go for the better choice. Finally, number 13, practice what you preach. None of this works if you're munching on potato chips. If you don't model healthy eating, then they're not going to eat it. Did you ever experience anything as a kid where you got something on your plate, but your mom and dad or your dad didn't get it and he didn't have to eat it? In my house, that was liver. My dad didn't have to eat liver, but liver was really good for growing girls, and it got put on my plates. Seriously, I just sat there. My mom was like, you are going to sit at that table until you eat that. I just outwaited her. I would just wait and wait. We ate dinner at 5:30. I waited. 8:30 rolled by, and I'm still sitting at that table. I am not eating that freaking liver. If it's not good enough for my dad, why on earth do I have to eat it? Modeling is critical. I would be willing to bet if everybody at the table ate it, I might have choked down at least a bite, but I wouldn't even try it. It smelled so horrible. As a parent, one of the most challenging tasks is to convince your child to eat their vegetables. Picky eaters can be frustrating and worrisome, especially when you want to ensure that your child is getting the necessary nutrients to support their growth and development. However, the good news is that with a little bit of patience and a lot of creativity, you can get your child to eat their veggies, and it doesn't have to be a struggle at all. With these 13 creative ways, you can encourage them to develop a love for vegetables and ensure that they get the necessary nutrients to grow big and healthy and strong. The quote for this week, I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. With Dr. Seuss from Green Eggs and Ham. If you are hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode. And for that, I want to send you a huge thank you. Please leave me a comment or review and share with other moms you know. Get in touch in the comments or on Kara's social media networks. See you next week for a new episode.